Hello, my name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind, a collection of advanced self-help quotes called psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic perspective, which long ago, as I understand, was referred to by some, or perhaps many, as philosophical medicine and narrative medicine. Once again, the idea being that, or the theory being that story and narrative implies time, linear time. That means our experiences can be acknowledged in terms of that time, that era of time, i.e. some experience took place. It was lived experience. So if there was trauma, we want to get to a place where we can recognize that it was lived, that it happened. We agreed it happened. Okay, it happened. It happened. So that's called consenting to the reality that the trauma took place. And we found some way to get to that kind of difficult spot where we accept the trauma took place. It was lived experience. And there's a huge emotional, that's really the heart of the matter. Can we do that? It's this verdict of reality that makes the work of mourning so difficult. Because you're going to mourn the loss of being loved. You're going to mourn all the time lost. You're going to mourn realizing that your mother was impaired, didn't have a loving mother like you thought you did. So you're going to mourn the loss of your potential, the loss of your authentic self, the budding beauty, the emerging self, the feeling self, the authentic self, the soul, the embodiment. That's a huge loss to live your life without yourself, kind of thing. So, but that's the key. That's the key point here. Now, this video here is going to be part 2, a continuation of yesterday's video. So yesterday, I'm in the middle of a quote that's 2 parts long, based on the basic headline. That dysfunction is the ongoing, invisible loyalty to the trauma, where there's still an ongoing, relentless, unreal hope that somehow magically your dysfunction will provide the hope of you getting the proper love past. So you hope to have a happy childhood in the past. So your dysfunction means you want a happy childhood. Doesn't make sense because you're in the present. But that part of the brain is driving you like a puppet master. There's no time. And the baby wanted love. The baby wanted development. The baby wanted secure attachment stuff. The baby wanted rhythm and safety so he can go through the developmental process. So he can have his authentic self, his beingness, and the capacity of the real self. And you live from the real self, the true self, the feeling self, the goal, the ball, and all the capacities of your beingness and your embodiment. So when there's trauma, we repeat, because the system's in pain. The system wants for the love. The pain is the betrayal trauma, relational trauma, the personal trauma, developmental trauma, strain trauma, attachment trauma, ambient trauma, take your pick. The baby was traumatized. Baby had a great hope, an original hope. It failed. You heard no noise. The wreckage was within. O cunning tale that let no witness him. If you see me darting around a bit, because I'm in a public venue, there's staff doing their chores and guests coming and going kind of thing. But this is still my best spot, nevertheless. So let's keep going here, yeah. So yesterday's video is sort of a basic requirement for this video here. Because I'm going to kind of maybe review it a bit, but continue it a bit as well. So this is really a 2-parter. I really recommend the past video. And I think most of the main ideas are covered there. But I want to see what we missed here a little bit. So it's a key point, in a way it sort of summarizes the whole therapy process. Can we, quote unquote, consent? Can we say to ourselves, yes, that happened? Emotionally. Because the problem is, if you do that, that means you're going to feel the confession that you didn't get love, you didn't get mother's love, that you were hurt instead, you were betrayed in a betrayal trauma, attachment trauma. And you need to feel safe with somebody to have that level of ability to feel safe and have a bodily response, catharsis, emotional release. Oh, it's raining here already. I prepared the umbrella. Might just be a shower. Let's see how it goes. I gotta get a new umbrella one day. Let's try this. Is this gonna work? Yeah, it's dirty old umbrella, eh? Oh my goodness. A little embarrassing to do a video with a dirty umbrella. Okay, I gotta get a new umbrella. Or maybe I can just, hey, hang on. Let's just do it like this. Yeah, okay. I just want to cover the camera now. I don't. Yeah, okay. This should be okay, right? Okay, let's continue here. Okay. So in the Dante's, the sign at the door of hell, Abandon all hope, ye who enter. Maybe we can bore that a little bit. Abandon hope. Abandon all hope that you're ever going to get a happy childhood. Abandon all hope. This relentless, stubborn hope that your dysfunction is somehow going to magically give you the happy childhood that you should have received. Abandon this hope. Ye who enter. Now you're feeling the pain of all that. That's the hell idea. You're going to face the shame of it all, the abandoned depression of it all, the tormented souls. Those are your repressed feelings. In Dante's hell, those tormented souls, those are your buried feelings of the trauma. You know, so that's quite a graphic image. That when your feelings got suppressed, now the feelings came from a need that was unmet. So your need and feeling got suppressed. That's a part of you that becomes like a ghost in a tormented soul. In the unconscious time, it's like that. So now you're gonna face that kind of thing. So once again, abandon all hope, ye who enter kind of thing. So this is sort of the starting point. Okay, the twilight zone. You're entering into another dimension beyond time and place and zone and sight and sound. And next stop, the twilight zone. Unconscious is the door there. So Rod Serling has a statue now in his hometown, and they put a door there beside him. So you live in these two worlds. So twilight zone means unconscious, right? So that's kind of like everything unknown about you. And in the unconscious is the memory of being shame, repressing your feelings. Shame is a burning, biting feeling, hence it's called hell like that. So hell is in the underworld like that. There's a lot going on in this other world. It's not just about shame. Your goal is there, and the knowledge of the trauma, the defense mechanism facing the traumatic script. You now enter the Gabe story metaphor where in the twilight zone you have this magical place, and you have to find the traumatic script. And there was a lady there writing Gabe his daily dysfunctional script. She said, I'm just giving you daily versions of your imprint. So he went deeper into the labyrinth, found the imprint, and realized, oh my God, he created an imprint. That we as babies created deep imprint where we believe that, first of all, we need a loving mother, but mother's hurting us. She's impaired, discussed yesterday. So there's a whole long list of reasons of why a mother is missing it with the baby. They miss a tune, malotune. They're not meeting the baby's needs. They don't pick up the signals. They don't understand the signals. Or maybe they're in a compulsion to still get the love that they should have received from their child. So they turn to the child, say, child, my mother didn't love me, you love me. They're going to parentify the child. One of life's little switches. Of course, the child's not being loved if the mother's turning the child to love her. Or the mother, for example, the mother didn't get once with her mother. So if it's a daughter, for example, she might fantasize that the child, the daughter's her, and in her vicarious, using the child as a proxy of her, and in her fantasy, in her unconscious theater, using a child in her theater, she wants to control the daughter, thinking she's giving herself in the unconscious the oneness that she should have received with her mother. So she won't give the daughter freedom like that. So this daughter was really upset that she can't be herself, and she can't separate from the mother. So as mentioned yesterday, this daughter might grow up. She might grow up and say, please, let me have a... So when she grows up, gets married, she said, please let me have a son. Let it be a boy. And let that boy be aggressive and naughty and rebellious. Because then in her fantasy, that boy could be a proxy of her fighting with the mother who used her for... So she wanted to break free from the mother. So I don't go for this cynical mistranslation, misunderstanding of the mistranslation upon the mistranslation upon the misunderstanding upon the I don't go for this idea that the aggressive He-Man, macho, violent, jungleism is the mother's proxy of her to make her feel that she's powerful enough to separate from the mother. Hence they would say, he is her. I don't want to say it. Okay, so this phrase, fill in the blank, MD, no, it's nonsense. So what's going on is that, thanks to Lucy Holmes, as I understand it, okay, it's easier for a boy to recognize he's different from the mother just simply because of the whole physiology that he's different. Not about any specific aspect about him. He's just overall a boy and the mother's a mother, so he can recognize easily he's different, he can separate. But then he's got more, it's pretty obvious like that, right? So, it's generally speaking, theoretically, generally speaking, it's easier for a boy to separate from the mother, hang out with the dad, and dads have an easy time to do father and son activities. So the son can hang out with the dad, to connect with him. Son can hang out with the mentors, and learn from mentors and then become a mentor himself finally late in life, and he can be a generative elder late in life. So boys can go through developmental process, generally speaking. Now for women, this seems to be a little bit harder. So Lucy Holmes was saying women have a harder time because the little girl is passive and she's the same as the mother, same gender as the mother, but the mother's a powerful woman and the baby's like a helpless version of her. How does this helpless little girl separate from the powerful mother? So this daughter has no, so quote-unquote power envy or ability to separate envy. Nothing to do with any specific aspect of the boy. That's nonsense. That's just code for the baby's difference, so he's got the power to separate. So it's sort of like a power envy or separation envy. They just use that idea to associate that it's a boy, but it's about the boy being different, which allows him the power to separate because he's physical, he's just so different. A boy's different from the girl, obviously. So the boys can generally separate. So Lucius Holmes was saying that daughters generally have a harder time to separate. Most in particular, if the mother has the agenda to use the daughter as a proxy of her, in the mother's fantasy that she's trying to get her symbiotic needs, her oneness needs, her merging needs, her fusion needs, vicariously by using the daughter as a proxy of her back in her unconscious, trying to get the needs that she didn't get. So when the mother didn't get oneness herself, she has the hope for the oneness. So she has a daughter, says, daughter, I didn't get oneness with my mother. You're going to play me, and I'm going to control you, so I can think that you as me are you're going to get oneness with me playing the mother for you, who's me. Now this daughter's saying, hold the phone, mother. I got to separate from you. I can't play you, baby you, who didn't get oneness. You're not going to let me free. And that's right. The mother will control the daughter. Do what I say. Mothers have all the power. The daughter has very little power against the mother. Basically nothing, right? And it's very easy for mothers to dominate the daughter and frighten the daughter. It's very easy for the mother to brainwash the daughter to stay symbiotic, fused, one, because the mother wants to vicariously use the daughter's her getting oneness. So meanwhile, the daughter's very upset by this. Mother, I want to be free. I want to separate. I can't be stuck in the tar pit. It's unhealthy. If this is quote-unquote like a psychological incest or something, it can't be like this. Yes, all babies need a period of oneness for the first 4 to 5 months. Then when it's a natural, positive symbiosis, the child can separate. But right off the bat, the mother might not even allow that. It's going to be stuck in the tar pit of a negative symbiosis. The daughter might be stuck in the tar pit of a negative symbiosis. So this daughter who experiences grows up 20 years later and has a baby and says, oh, please let it be a boy, and I'm going to make him aggressive. Okay, as mentioned yesterday, she wants the boy to have a jungle mind, so she'll traumatize the boy to think it's a survival, think it's jungle, because from the mother's point of view, she was in a jungle place, fighting with the mother, controlling her. So the daughter had no power to fight with the monster. Okay, now when we say the daughter thinks the mother's a monster, no. The baby is enraged at the mother. The baby's rage rebounds her back in on himself, and in the pre-linguistic, pre-verbal primary mentation, the baby's rage, okay, LIVE, reverse ED out, destructor, okay, poof, monsters of the id monsters. So now it's a jungle because the baby daughter's fighting with the monster, but that monster is her own anger. Her own anger sizzles, poofs into a monster fighting with the monster. Now what does the monster want? No, the monster is code for the baby's anger as an SOS for love. But the mother blocked it because the mother said, I can't love you. So the baby's rage as an SOS was blocked. Then it became destructive when it twirled around and poof, and the monster did attacking himself. Guy with the horns. Okay, it could be Medusa, Minotaur, take your pick. So now the baby thinks it's a jungle because it's survival with an image in the mind of his own rage, poofing into an image attacking him. Now it's not attacking psychologically. I think what happened is the baby originally expected love, expected mother to be there. Oh, it's not raining. Oh, hang on. Oh. There's no breeze here. Let me take a minute to do a cool off moment here. Hold on a sec. Okay, this is a key point discussed in the past 3 videos by Lucy Holmes. Where were we? So if the daughter didn't get a chance to feel safe enough to separate from the mother and allow her to go through her developmental process, okay, where she practices being separate and recognizing her uniqueness, her identity, her budding beauty, her emerging self, her feeling self, then everyone's unique. She expresses what's unique about her, and the mother's okay with that. Child has curiosity, mother supports it. The mother is Freuder, recognizing the daughter's different, daughter's unique, daughter has her personality. Mother's okay with that. The mother's pleasure in seeing the uniqueness of her daughter being who she's meant to be. Okay? Nature's greatest miracle. Everyone's a little different, and the mother's okay with that. She's not using the daughter to be like a carbon copy of her as a missing child. When she was a child, when the mother was a child herself, what was missing for her was the oneness of her mother. So in that case, she might feel tempted to compel the daughter to play her in her fantasy that the daughter's her back in her nursery getting the oneness. So the daughter's being not having the freedom to go through the developmental process. She's got to play a role from her mother's drama of her unmet needs with her mother back in the past. So this daughter, of course, is going to be very upset as she had no chance to break free, right? No chance to break free. See, with boys, she might not think that, but with the boy or with the girl, she might parentify the boy or girl to take care of her. So there's a little bit of it's the lesser harm, I guess, but it's still harmful. So with the daughter, there's the added pressure that the daughter's got to perform the role of symbiotic missingness of the mother's missingness. So there's extra pressure where the daughter can't even be herself. She's got to be the mother, controlled by the mother, where the mother thinks the daughter's her, getting oneness, being fed. So this daughter it's really passive and that's why many women grow up, they become very passive-aggressive in their behavior. They're very subtle in their subtle techniques to be aggressive passively. A lot of women have a very uncanny, intuitive ability to be aggressive in a covert, sneaky, hidden way. Man, oh man, that's called passive aggressiveness. Yeah, so they annoy you by doing drip by drip, annoying little things, and look innocent, call them out. They say, "So what's wrong with you?" They have an uncanny ability to make others angry and look innocent. Okay, and that's their way to get their anger out, by making others angry. They got to get their anger out by making others angry. And then there's a whole long, there's more information about women's ways of getting back at mother and the world through these passive-aggressive techniques. So anyways, let's just go back to the theory that daughters maybe have a harder time. That's the main message of Hendrika Alberstadt-Freud, no relation, her book called Electra Complex. She says the most complicated relationships of all over the place is the mother-daughter one. Yes, the son and mother-son and all that's, yes, but way beyond all that, it's the mother-daughter one. So that's the Electra complex. So she terms that the Electra complex. Electra was Oedipus' sister. So it's really, and the mother's Jocasta. So in summary, any complication, any difficulty, any problem, any argument, any fight between the daughter and mother is called the Electra complex. If the complex means too much energy, too much memory, too many feelings, and there's just so much going on, and that's like a complex. When you bundle up a lot of pain and memories, you bundle up together, quote-unquote complex, a condensation, a cluster, or a bundle, or condensation, and a group of memories around a certain theme. It's called a complex. So if the daughter is a mother complex, since it's the daughter, we call her Electra, she's an Electra complex. And the mother doing it is Jocasta, so the mother has a Jocasta complex, giving the daughter Electra complex, because the daughter's Electra, mother's Jocasta. But yeah, so I'm trying to clarify something for myself as well here. So, okay, so there's two. Let's just say there's boys and girls can suffer the same issue with the mother. But in the exception of girls, there's an added one that we just talked about, where she's got to be symbiotic mother self. But boys can't do that because boys are boys. The mother can't expect the boy to be a little, in a fantasy little girl. So it's not going to work like that. But, okay, so that aside, the commonality of boys and girls is, okay, parentification. So boy or girl, the mother might turn to the child to comfort her, soothe her, take care of her, never let her feel alone, give her supply, let her feel important. That's called childhood parentification, using the child as a symbiotic object, self-object for the mother. Mother has excuses, mother's rights, she's entitled, has all the power, immunity, no one stops her. She's in a compulsion to get her needs met. So the mother didn't get her needs met with her mother, turns to the baby, says, baby, my mother didn't soothe me. Okay, you've got to do that for me. I'm in a compulsion to get my needs because I'm in pain. I think your mother loved me, so I'm going to pretend in a hallucination like the thirsty guy in the desert who desperately needs water and suddenly sees like a water outside, an oasis outside. The mother's sort of in a similar situation. Baby, I'm going to have to hallucinate that you're my mother. Like the guy in the desert. It's psychotic stuff. So now she might not think it, but invisibly, something like that seems to be going on because she's going to treat the baby as a symbolic mother, symbolic breast, self-object, take care of her. So both boys, both daughters and sons are way overwhelmed by this pressure by the mother, this expectation of the mother that the child take care of her, serve her, soothe her, take care of her. One of life's little switches. A lot of books are written about this topic. There's a lot of, we got a lot of quotes on it. The line, one of life's little switches, comes from the TV show called Celebrity Playhouse, where you had this really wealthy, pampered woman. She was pampered her whole life, silver spoon kind of thing. So even with her daughter, she expected the daughter to take care of her, like all her husbands and father. Everybody took care of her. So she had the daughter, expected the daughter to do that. The daughter grew up in her 20s and said, oh my God, I have no clue who I am. I spent my whole life being a mother to my mother. Mother, I've been a mother to you. I've been more mother to you than daughter. Mother, our relationship is one of life's little switches. I've been more mother to you than daughter. I have no clue who I am. Please tell me who I am here. Shrinks are railing about this kind of thing. That's what you did to me, mother. You parentified me because you're so pampered. Everybody took care of you all the time. The episode's a bit of ridiculous because she's openly an arrogant, bratty, entitled woman. And it's a strange episode because all the men are gaga for her for some strange reason. I think they were trying to make the point how absurd this kind of thing is. Or somebody said they didn't have the money to hire a pretty enough, seductive enough, alluring enough, convincing enough women to make men feel so fooled by this. So they just took a I don't know, an average kind of girl like that, with a bad attitude, right? Who thought she was a princess, and everyone said, "Oh, you're a princess." What? Oh my God! So either it was just a financing thing; they couldn't find a pretty girl for this, or they deliberately chose to make the point, so the viewer can see how ridiculous it is, how men are so gaga like this. It's convincing when the woman jiggles the mammaries and jiggles the bountiful teeth and does a seductive routine, because men imprint on the breast. If the woman jiggles the breast, the men are spellbound. It's a little bit convincing that way, but she didn't do anything like that. Anyways, she was pampered her whole life, this woman, and did it to the daughter. So the daughter spoke up and said, yeah, I have no idea who I am. I didn't have a mother. I had no mother. I was so busy taking care of you, soothing you, doing what you want, attending to you, comforting you, pleasing you. Every micro minute you wanted this, I have to call you 20 times a day, to do this for you all the time. I had to pamper you and spoon feed you all the time. The daughter was doing this for her. So the daughter got fed up and said, I'm leaving. I'm leaving town. I'm out of here. Okay, play the song by Bob Seger, Roll Me Away. Roll Me Away. Play the Route 66 episode, the episode about the woman with the mask and the revving the car, get me out of here kind of thing. So she had to go to another town and start over kind of thing. She had no clue what she wanted, what she liked. Now this was a billionaire family. She was like from living in a castle kind of thing, or a wealthy kind of thing like that. Okay, so for both boys and girls, they can both be pressured to be a parent, surrogate parent for the mother who's really an infant looking for love in an adult body. So okay, that takes place. Also, what takes place for both boys and girls is that the mother might shame both her daughter and her son in her attempt to remember that she had been shamed by her mother. She doesn't remember that she was shamed. So in an attempt to get her story, she doesn't remember it happened to her. So she recreates it behaviorally so she can finally say, oh my God, where did I learn this? Who taught me this? Why am I doing this? This is what happened to me. I'm doing this so I can know that's what happened to me. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now, the difference between boys and girls is, like I said earlier, quoting Lucy Holmes, only with the daughter will she totally create a oneness because the mother wanted oneness. Now, the difference might be for a boy is that if a daughter who experiences and then grows up, then she says, I want to have a boy. She wants a boy, and she wants the boy to be a fighter, a rebellious kind of person, because she wanted to fight with the mother, break free with the mother. She wanted to be power. So she wants the son to be as most powerful as possible. So send him to the gyms or whatever. Send him to the karate school, I don't know, the martial arts school. She wants the son to be belligerent. She wants the son to be a bully, covertly. She wants the son to be naughty and all that. She wants the son to be rebellious because she's enjoying the fantasy that that's her inside in her theater of the mind, in the unconscious, fighting with the mother, using the bully child as a proxy, being a bully to fight with the mother. So the rebellious child, for her, it's her rebellion against the mother. That might be the difference, like that. Okay, so let me take another. Man, oh man, there's no breeze here today. One sec. Okay, let's just leave it there for a recap of Lucy Holmes, some of the key points. There's a wealth of material with Lucy Holmes. Go to the book Women in Psychoanalysis, and I covered chapters 5 and 7, well, portions of chapters 5 and 7. So there's way more to it. But the newest theory was that the mother was in a jungle mentality. The mother has a jungle mentality when she doesn't get... when she feels safe with the mother. So she wants the son to be in a jungle mentality, but be a fighter, so she thinks she's fighting with the mother in her unconscious theater of the mind, like that. That's sort of, the other point. And then the other point is that why so many daughters are extremely passive-aggressive. They're very entitled and they're very aggressive. Some women are very, very aggressive, but it's sugar-coated. They've learned how to put on a smile. It's called the angry smile. Go to the book called The Angry Smile by the Longs. Yeah, a couple there. Scott Wester's book and the other material here. Or just go to our quotes here in the collection. Type in passive aggressiveness in our collection here. You'll get some of the best quotes on the top. It's one of our threads here. And we've added a lot of good quotes on passive aggressiveness. Man, oh man. Okay, so you got the soft pillow with thorns. And the baby learned the pattern that mother said to the child, you can't show anger, so the anger went on the body, the baby got sick. So he got his anger out that way. So he learns that to express anger, he's got to use others as a proxy of their body, make them sick. As they're getting the anger out. They don't know they're doing it, but that's the only way they can express their anger, making others angry and sick, obviously. So one woman was in a lifelong battle with her mother. So she married a fellow and was 24/7 annoying in a subtle way. And he got sick and kicked the bucket early. She said victory, Pyrrhic victory. But then she said, oh, I miss torturing him. See, this is sad stuff. She spent her whole life fighting with the mother, transferred the mother onto the fellow, and then got back at mother by using the fellow as a stand-in, using the husband as a stand-in, a placeholder, a theater stand-in for the mother whom she's got to fight against. So that's a Pyrrhic victory on her part. But is it really? Is she happy? She spent her whole life fighting with the mother. She feels this narcissistic pride like that, but she missed her life. Didn't love the fellow. Didn't have love in her life. Didn't express what's unique about her. Couldn't make I statements. Couldn't have creative play. Share nothing like that. She just spent her whole life in a jungle mentality. And the poor husband was the stand-in, and she found a way to use passive-aggressive techniques. And there's hundreds. Just belay, make them wait, dawdle, and deliberate inefficiency, pretend this, pretend that, make excuses. Intuitively knowing the little things that makes the other person annoyed. The moment he says it, flip, what's wrong with you? So it says, I'm right, you're wrong. And he punishes himself. And that's a part of it. So she was stressing the guy out like that. He didn't want too much salt in his food. So she would always put just a little extra. I said, I don't want that much. Oh, did you say? I forgot. Either she pretends to forget or really forgets. And she, he wants his slippers in a certain place, so she moves it. Where am I? Gets angry. He did it again and again. Oh, I forgot. Did you tell me that? So she does these. She's in a compulsion to get the anger up not by what she does really, but more often by what she doesn't do. They're always preparing for events here. These guys. This is a really busy venue. Half the time I can't come here because it's an event. So if I can come here, they're preparing for an event. I'm in a really nice place. I've talked about this wonderful place. They got swans and peacocks for the kids and rabbits and this outdoor area, little water there. It's actually a historical garden from way long ago. This was an important garden in historical time. They preserved it. It's a historical landmark kind of place. I don't know, a few decades ago, it got converted into an events place. So a lot of weddings are here, corporate functions, company functions. I noticed a lot of like groups, like seniors groups or mother-toddler groups or and so on. The happiest, I think personally, the happiest, these gardener guys are I guess they're out of the drama with the preparing for the guests. They just take care of the flowers and the trees and all that. They seem to be the most easygoing kind of guys. The happiest staff section seems to be the garden. Actually, that's not true. They're all very friendly here. Very professional atmosphere. The tone is very adult-like here. Probably shouldn't. Luckily, they don't hear the music at this distance. They reassure me, don't worry. I'm at the corner here. Let me take another cool-off moment here. Man, oh man. One sec. playing the most hardest rock song we have on our soundtrack. This song here by the classic rock band Centers. This is the hardest, fastest song we have on our soundtrack here because it corresponds a little bit to this topic that we're addressing here yesterday and today mainly. That we got to find some way to give up hope for a happy childhood. Give up hope for a better childhood. Dysfunction means you have the hope that you'll have a happy childhood in the past. What are you talking about? The past is the past, but no, the unconscious does not know time. That part of the brain, okay, the limbic system, the brainstem, the tip of the amygdala, that whole automatic nervous system, the spine like that, okay, it looks like the monitor. That survival brain, we've had it for 500 billion years, or whatever it is. Okay, the automatic nervous system, stress response, okay, it just cares about survival. That's why people nickname that part of the brain. Take your pick. I've been calling it the iguana brain. Most people call it the crocodile, alligator. We saw monitor lizards in the park recently. Janoff likes to call it the salamander. Someone else called it the frog one. Someone else called it the shark one. You can take your pick. Any kind of creature, basically any kind of cold-blooded creature that only cares about survival. It's not the mammal. It's not the giraffe or the dog or something. Not the monkey. It's the more primitive one. It's just the more like the crocodile. Just cares about survival. That part of the brain, that limbic system. You see, that's responsible for our stress response. Because the stress response is about survival. The stress response means she's afraid. Baby's afraid of mother. Mother, you're scaring me here. Mother, you're not meeting my needs. You're ignoring me. You're not around. I'm scared. Mother, I'm scared. Tension, fear, cortisol, adrenaline, tension, stress. Mother, I'm very stressed here. I got a lot of tension here. My fear, my tension is building up. I'm starting to feel shame here. Don't you want me? Shame adds to my tension because you're rejecting me. I'm afraid you're going to reject me. That's my shame. It's building up. Okay, build up. Yeah, build up these things. At some point, the final pathway, the most desperate final expression or signal that the baby can make to communicate his distress and his need for love is anger, fury, rage, etc. So the baby's fury and rage, okay, they're SOSs. The baby's anger is a cry for love, and SOS for love. It comes from the love line. It's a cry for love, a cry for connection, a cry for attachment, a cry for safety so he can develop. It's a cry for that. Block, fear, tension, block, anger. It's not a separate thing. It comes from the love line. It just blocked and it morphed into anger because the baby thinks the anger is the best chance, most desperate chance to get mother's attention. Because he doesn't know how to get mother's attention. Mother's ignoring him. So the final pathway is the anger, fury, rage, and all that. Now what? The mother really still going to gaslight the baby? You can't be angry at me. I don't accept your anger. What? You're not going to accept my anger? You didn't meet my needs. I communicated. You ignored it again. I showed my distress again and again. You ignore me. How soul blind are you? So a lot of mothers are soul blind. This is called soul blindness. A lot of mothers who are emotionally impaired, emotional dyslexia, emotional warping. Mother has MPD, PPD, bully pattern, Iago pattern, stinger pattern, etc. She may be a waif narcissist, a clinging vine narcissist, a turtle narcissist. Okay, she might be an idealizing, a closet narcissist or a voyeur narcissist, passive-aggressive narcissist, or lower functioning BPD, bully pattern, okay, and other types. So these all, she's going to be soul blind. Okay? The mother's soul blind, doesn't recognize the feelings and needs of the baby, doesn't understand the baby's needs, let alone the signals. The feelings animate from the feeling of the needs being met and unmet. Needs met, feelings pleasant. Needs unmet, feelings unpleasant. Mothers don't understand any of that. So she's soul blind to the baby's feelings and needs, in other words. So the baby, final pathway, most desperate SOS attempt, the most extreme effort on the baby's part is the fury, rage, and all that. Now, what happens if the mother then says, you can't be angry at me? Holy, you know what? Now what does the baby do? You already sent away the soul. Okay, the emotional body went flat, numb. Okay, pin in the collar. Okay, metaphor meaning under the collar, the emotional body goes flat affect. Okay, in ancient times that was called atimo lexia, no feelings for your words. Nowadays, alexithymia, no words for your feelings. Dickinson calls it the swoon, okay, based on There's a pain so utter, swallows something, the person goes into a swoon. So Miss Core, the princess core, heart, soul of the person, authentic person, she's a princess. Princess is symbol for our embodiment, our feeling of feminine, the yin, the moon, the yin, the feminine, the being, the feminine, the yin. So you take a princess to represent that. So in the fairy tale, the myth, the princess, earth opens up, chasm, okay, pull down. The chasm means gap. When you see the gap in there, that means there's a gap between the baby D, what he got, the gap or chasm, soul got pulled down. Now that gap is pain, so the swoon comes in. So M. Dickinson calls it the swoon, meaning the brain sends you endorphins. Internal pharmacy in the brain that numbs you of the pain. It's there, but you're numb to it. You're in a swoon. So she says you can kind of go around. You can't admit it. You can't have your soul because there's a bridge of numbing. If you go around, across, above, you can't. Your soul's not there. Pain. So the mercy is you're going to be numb to it with the swoon idea, or the pin in a collar, and the body goes flat. So the aliveness of the body, that's the real self, true self. Maybe I should move. Let me see. Where else can I go? They're all doing their chores in front of me here. Let's see. Yeah, okay, let me take a look here. Yeah, look at that. See, you don't hear the music, eh? Look at that. I don't hear the music. Yeah, see, they're preparing the tables, eh? We're gonna have these guys are really busy. Nice place, eh? Look at that, eh? Well, since we're up, let's take a peek at the... Oh, they're sleeping. The two of them there are sleeping. Where's the other one? Where's the other one, yeah. One of them's awake. You want to say hello? You two guys want to say hello? Is there anything you'd like to say? Anything on your mind? What are you experiencing? What are your current thoughts? What's your free association? No? Are you giving me the silent treatment? Are you being passive aggressive? You don't want to talk? Are you angry? You're so angry you don't want to say anything? Not speaking is a very common passive aggressive technique. So a woman won't speak to you. That's an aggressive thing. So not cooperating, not saying, not sharing the information, sin of omission. Now he's sort of the star of the... He's sort of the venue's mascot, I think. An older bird, but he's in good form, he's healthy. How about you? Anything you want to say? All right. Still there? Yeah, they're right. They don't hear me at all. Look at that, eh? Okay. So dysfunction means you still have the hope that you're going to receive a happy childhood. What the hell? The past took place. Okay, you got to say to yourself, okay, it happened. Okay, mother failed me. Okay, mother was impaired. Okay, mother, okay, you got to admit you didn't get your needs met. Can you do that? Can you consent to the reality of the trauma, the relational trauma, the personal trauma, development, once again, all those weaning traumas and strain traumas and birth traumas and perinatal traumas and other kind of traumas where the baby was not seen, needs not met, mother was soul blind. Mother's soul blindness. That's one way of thinking about it. You know, that phrase was used long ago. We don't use it nowadays. I noticed an older article, like from 100 plus years, they would refer to this issue that the mother was soul blind and the child is traumatized by the mother's soul blindness. So she's, and then that child will grow up with love blindness. They'll be love blind, like spellbound, right? They'll have love sickness. With the love sickness, they'll easily say love is blind because they're so desperate to see and have a loving mother. They need a loving mother, so what's inside you that you need so much, you see it, like the desert one, the thirsty guy seeing an oasis. You're so starved, you might see it, so you deny reality. You're blind. Love is blind means you got to see what you need to see, so you project what you need to see onto somebody that you need. And that phenomenon takes place because originally mother was soul blind, that crushed you. So you need mother's love. You need mother's love so much so you grow up and somebody reminds you of the mother who failed you. Well, deny it and make her be a loving mother, the mother that you needed. So you still have to hope for a better past. So lovesick and puppy love, infatuation, obsessive love, love at first sight, spellbound, okay, and transference love, puppy love, all that obsessive love, child love, infantile love, that's still the hope for a better past. Dysfunction is the hope for a better past. Now, with puppy love and all that, if you're conscious, that's different. If you're conscious, the two people can grow and heal, develop. If they're not conscious, then you have to hope to magically get a better past. If you're conscious, you can do something about it. If you're not conscious, you're based on the unconscious hope for getting the better past. So, falling in love without consciousness, okay, that's your unconscious hope for getting a better past. Abandon all hope, ye who want to heal. Meaning abandon all hope that something symbolic or something repetitive is going to give you a better childhood. So no cigarette, no pint of ice cream, no a bottle of whatever. Okay. Your hope, that's going to be mother. Whoa. Abandon all hope. Dysfunction means you have to hope for a better childhood. And that was sort of the main thing. Now, this all started with me because I saw a comedian poke fun out of it. He mentioned a self-help book that he read that in, and just made like a comedy, and just made like a note about it. And that caught my attention, and I got a little excited about it. Now, the book is the book he's referring to, it's a typical money-making self-help scam. The problem with these self-help marketing things is 99% of it is fluff. But there's some fancy jargon to make you think important. He's important. I'm learning I'm important. So you use some advanced jargon. Quantum physics, you use some fancy terms to feel important. You know, and then you're drawn to that to feel important. And you think he's important. You think he's knowledgeable. But no, really, if you calm down a little bit, 90% of it's fluff, filler, fluff, erroneous, trite. But the appeal is there's got to be some crumb of truth in it. So the crumb that Behrman found was this point about dysfunction means you still have to hope for a better childhood past. So here it is here. Hang on a second. Okay, let's leave it. Yeah, so here it is here. So I'm going to show you the comedian where he says that. He's 80 years old now. So this is Steve Behrman here. He calls himself a cosmic comic. You know, he might be kind of like the one thread all throughout self-help and psychology and therapy models. Because in all the conferences, if any conference organizers want some kind of entertainment, he's the guy. There's no one else. There's no other comedian that has the niche of making comedy about self-help ideas like that. So this is the guy here. And we have a few of his quotes in our collection. The pigeon joke, and you know, we can all live like nomads. Where I no mad at you, you no mad at me. And his speech is about how comedy can help interrupt either or thinking and move towards both and thinking. So the most recent example I heard it was, he had two friends. One was a extreme conservative, one is a more progressive liberal. He said to them, hey, you two, I want you to both tell me, what do you both want to conserve and advance or progress or develop? Something both. See, so they both have both, right? So he tries to use ways to blend the two somehow. So he wants to interrupt either or thinking. So someone asks, oh, Mr. Behrman, are you an evolutionist or a creationist? Oh, I'm both. I believe we are born to evolve. We're created to evolve. So when you say something like that, it interrupts this either or. So his MO is use comedy to interrupt these extreme either ors, interrupt either or thinking, and he does that a fair bit. So there's different points about the use of comedy. He said when he was young, he would use comedy as an anger tool. So as veiled hostility, sarcastic, put down humor, shaming humor. But he didn't want to continue down that path. So he just stayed in the self-help mode and had a little niche for himself because he wanted to find humor that was there in the therapy idea. And fair enough, he did. He is sort of in that more or less area like that. He's not perfect. He's struggling himself. So for example, he said when he started out, when he began his comedy routines or something, he had some hecklers or something. So he had to sarcastically use a joke to attack them back. So he was pretending, he put on a costume where he's pretending to be a guru, like a spiritual guru or something, right? That's his alter ego, right? Swami beyond Ananda, right? So he's putting on his guru routine or something, and then he had these hecklers saying nasty things about him. So he said, oh, he stopped the show kind of thing. Oh, I see. So you're baiting me. You guys are baiting me. Well, you know what they call people who bait spiritual masters, which he was role-playing of? Okay, fill in the blank. I don't want to say it. And then everyone laughed. They got embarrassed and left. So he had to fight back using sarcasm in his humor to push back the bullies. He didn't want to do that all the time. He didn't want to stay in that kind of negative fighting mode like that. So, okay, if you're curious, so just do the wordplay. The hecklers were baiters, and he's a master of something, right? So that means they are the master, what they were, fill in the blank, put it together. The audience roared with laughter. They were embarrassed and left. So he said, and he didn't want to go down that path. But when he started, he felt that's the path of comedy. No, that's not what I wanted in comedy. Yes, he learned as a youth to use humor in an aggressive way, put down humor, shaming humor, and there's a huge market for it. You can make a lot of money with that, right? But so his story is either that's true, okay, fine, or he's just making himself feel better because he wasn't successful in that area or something. I'm not sure. Anyways, a lot of his humor is helpful humor. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. A lot of his humor is helpful humor. And he wants to interrupt your either or thinking. He wants you to maybe feel not shamed by something you said that's embarrassing, so you felt safe. And when you feel safe, the tension you have, so when there's tension and then you feel safe, the mechanism that releases the tension, because now you're safe, is the laughter response, right? He thinks it's kind of analogous, a little bit slightly analogous to when the rabbit's stunned or when the gazelle is stunned or something, they might shake it off, but humans don't shake it off. So when we're like upset and we feel safe, we we laugh. That's sort of our way to shake it off. I don't know. It's an interesting theory of his like that. I'm also curious about this whole shaking off thing. So just generally, the first part of the joke is tension, okay, and then the second part of the joke makes you feel safe. Now when you feel safe, in contrast to when you're tension, so tension, safe, knock, knock, who's there? Suspense, oh my God, little benign, not serious tension, just a little benign, violation of your expectations. Harmless, benign violation. Knock, knock, who's there? Yeah, a little suspense. You get the answer. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Now, because you got the answer, it's harmless. Your tension's gone. It's a trick to get your tension away. Then there might be a little laughter like that. Okay. So the pigeon joke is one of my favorite of his. Is the pigeon joke is one lady was entering into midlife, and she was kind of narcissistic and ambitious to make money and be successful, but it was failing her. So she was facing that her narcissistic supply, she might not be able to make it because she's getting older, getting less pretty. So it's kind of failing her. Now she's facing the stress that her hope to be powerful and get narcissistic supply and feel important, and to hope to get symbolic mother through having lots of money was failing. So she got the idea, wait a minute, in reincarnation, you can just continue, right? You don't got to worry about time. I don't got to admit getting older. I don't got to admit mortality. I don't got to face this issue because in reincarnation, I could just continue in the next life, right? So she went to him calling himself a New Age comic or a cosmic comic. Hey, Mr. Behrman, you're kind of knowledgeable about these kind of things. So tell me, what's the deal? What's up with this reincarnation thing? Now, him knowing the context of what I just said, his reply to her was, oh, it's funny how things work out. I once knew this guy who wanted to be wealthy in his lifetime. He was reincarnated as a pigeon and made a deposit on a BMW. So she felt validation, she wasn't shamed, she wasn't embarrassed. The pigeon expressed a frustration, but the hope to buy the car, but the frustration. So she laughed, she felt better, she accepted her situation, and she calmed down. So he would use humor in that kind of modality. I've never mentioned this, but I don't like talking about political, but he has his common selling point of the power of humor. I don't know if it's in that speech there, but he often says that his best selling point, beyond the typical, humor is the best medicine idea, Norman Cousins and whatever that is. The guy was ill, he watched comedy films and felt better, and then the doctor said, wait a minute, you were sick? You went to the hotel and watched, candid camera and comedies and old comedy films, and now you're okay? What, really? We thought you were going to be a goner, and now you're healed just by... So apparently some guy was ill, doctors thought he was going to be a goner. He said, what do I got to lose? He checked himself into a hotel and just watched comedy, all the old comedies that he didn't see or something. And he was laughing the whole time, and sure enough, he got better. Doctor said, what the hell? So they said, we got to study this thing. We got to study this thing. And Behrman said, yeah, they want to study it because humor works in reality, but does it work in theory? Something like that. Okay, beyond that kind of general idea of the stress release and all that, his example was the Cold War thing, and there's a big tension between the two, and there's a real tense moment or something. I don't know if this is exaggerated or made up or elaborate. I don't know the full details, but he claims that in this intense exchange between the two sides like that, I guess one of them said, can we all just take a break here? So I think it was the Soviet guy's side. He said, can we just take a break here and exchange jokes? I'll go first, okay? I'll go first. You want to know what the difference is between capitalism and communism? He said, in capitalism, man exploits man, but in communism, it's the other way around. I didn't say it right there. No, I didn't get it across. It's the other way around. Okay, I didn't get it across. I didn't feel the funniness of it. Maybe because I'm nervous talking about political ideas. I don't really do this, right? This is my first time to mention this joke. So let's try again. So it's the Cuban Missile Crisis thing, right? There's a lot of tension between the two sides like that. And then finally somebody said, we got to break the ice here. Too much tension here. So somebody said, the one guy said, can we just pause and each side tells a joke? I'll go first. You know what the difference is between you and us? Okay, you in your model, okay, you exploit man. In our model, it's the other way around. That's a little better, right? Apparently, they all laugh, a huge outburst, huge release, and he claims that might have been what saved us, right? Kind of thing, or something like that, or I don't know. Theoretically, maybe that was the moment when things got better, thanks to the joke. So he would use this anecdote. He told it a million times, so I guess he polished it or something. So that's one selling feature about humor. Another recent one was, how do you spell guru? G. You are you. The truth will upset you free. He's got these good little zingers like that. A lot of zingers like that. Yeah, my favorite is the pigeon one. So here he is in an interview telling the interviewee about a book he read, and one of the main points from that book is that you have to give up hope for a better childhood. Okay, here it is here. Man, oh man, it's hot today. Okay.
Neurolinguistic programming. He has a wonderful phrase in his book. He says, give up all hope for a better past. And, you know, so many times we're back there trying to fix things that cannot be fixed. And so having the perspective of laughter helps us give up all hope of a better past.
That's great. Give up all hope for a better past. I love it.
Give up all posts for a better. Give up all hope for a better past. That simple, catchy phrase. That's a good one, I thought, as well. We've been talking about this here all throughout the collection. The repetition compulsion is you want to undo the past, correct the past, heal the past, get mother's love in the past. So that's just another way of saying it. That dysfunction is your loyalty, because in your loyalty, you're hoping for a better past. So if you're happy, you're not loyal, you separate, you don't have mother there, you can't change the past. And another point about is people will be dysfunctional, unhappy, to maintain the tie that hurt them, hoping for a better past. If you somehow magically pretend it didn't happen, that's like letting your parents off the hook. Huge injustice. No way. That's like saying what they did was okay. I'm violating myself. I'm betraying myself if I say what they did was okay. So I can't be happy because I gotta prove and show up. And my dysfunction will be a statement, a memorial statement. My life of suffering will be a statement that they failed me, they hurt me, and I'm waiting for a better outcome for the past. So I'll stay like this, and I want a magical time machine to appear. I want to go back. I want to travel back in the past. I want mother to change her ways and say sorry for what you did, realize her mistake, and give me the proper love I should have received. So dysfunction means you're waiting for this magical time machine. You're waiting for this magical apology or reparation or recorrection of the matter. Doesn't make sense. But that part of the brain, the monitor, the iguana brain, the monitor lizard brain, the salamander brain, okay, the dinosaur brain, the crocodile brain, take your pick, does not know time. That's the puppet master. That's what's driving us. The neural circuits are in there. The motivation there, the pain is there, the drive is there, the script is there, the imprint is there, the internal working model there, the prototype is there, stencil, schema, script, etc. All the energy is devoted in this looping memory thing. And it's based on pain, so we repeat for a better outcome. So in the present, you recreate new additions. So that's dysfunction. Dysfunction means, or neurosis means you're going to create new additions to the past, okay, recreating the past in the present, hoping for a better past. So give up all hope for a better past, he says. So maybe I'll just let the phone read it out. Hold on a second. Man, it's hot today. Why is it so hot today? Yesterday it wasn't so bad. Maybe it's just me. Hold on a second. Maybe let me let the phone read it out here.
Hope for a better past. One of the most curious features of human beings is their unconscious but persistent hope that the past, or some parts of it, will have been different than it was. What is it that we value that might be compromised or lost in the future as a consequence of new choices and changes that are made in the present? Very often the answers to this have to do with loss of hope for a better past. Maintaining hope for a better past is never a conscious endeavor. One of the drivers for holding on to or otherwise avoiding the resolution of present pain, in order to prevent the loss of hope that things will have been better in the past, is what I call suffering obligations of love, SOL. Suffering has a unique definition here. It can be described as the terrible things we do to ourselves in an unworkable effort to say I love you to someone else. As far as we know, humans are the only creatures who use emotional suffering to communicate love, and the only creatures who compromise their present and future well-being in an effort to improve the experience of their forebears. If our pain diminishes, we have the bad feeling that we are abandoning the ones we love, abandoning them in their present and our past, so we unconsciously find ways to maintain our pain by arranging things so that our own lives will not improve until there's due in their present, which of course is impossible, since it is our past. Or, on those occasions when we cannot avoid some improvement in our own experience, we can still accomplish most of the same outcome by arranging to feel just as bad as we always have, no matter how much better things get. Of course, when the disparity between how bad our lives feel and how good they actually are gets to be too inexplicable, we start to feel quite crazy. When this crazy feeling gets to be too much, a simple general collapse of most of the good things in our lives will always serve to realign our actual reality with our unpleasant feelings about our reality. All present pain that has come from past trauma is coded as an indication that the trauma is not over. When the trauma is not over, because we continue to feel its negative and awful effects in our present, then the game is not over. As long as the game is not over, there is some hope that the outcome can change. As long as the outcome can still change, there is a possibility that we, and the people we care about, can still win, whatever that might mean, and this gives us hope. A real and lasting resolution of our pain would end our hope to have had a better past, and this ending or loss of hope can feel unbearable. One way that an SOL maintains past pain and violation in the present in service of a better past is by fixing things up so that, again and again, we fail to change. When someone or something in life presents us with a positive, workable resolution for our pain, a resolution for which we have no doubt longed and toward which we have often worked diligently and admirably, perhaps for years or decades, the desire for that better future might be incredibly strong, but one way or another we do not really allow ourselves the revisions and healing. This is because, on an unconscious level, we hold on to a forlorn hope that things that were terrible and heartbreaking can still get better in the past, so that they won't really have happened the way they did. In another example, hope for a better past can be hope for justice. The words that describe how this works are these: attention perpetrators from my past. What you did to me, or my ancestors, was so cruel, and so wrong, and my humiliation and defeat at your hands was so complete, that I will never let the results of all that change. If I allow myself a decently abundant and joyful life now, I am just saying that what you did to me was okay, and I will never give you that. My life of misery will be my personal memorial, a perpetual indictment that will point at your guilt for all to see. We tend to use the felt experience of our present loss and pain as evidence that we were treated unjustly and that we are now continuing to work, retroactively but very conscientiously, to achieve better outcomes in the past. The proclivity of people to imitate exactly those traits that they deride in their parents and that hurt them so much. This experience can be captured in the phrase, to honor you, and to ease your suffering, and to amend the bad experiences and conditions of your life, I will be like you, I promise. These unconscious loving sentiments, and the destructive decisions and actions to which they give rise, are always directed toward past events and toward family members who may have already died. Thus, such suffering devotion is always completely pointless. It is compassion without any good effect. It is a severely distorted expression of love. Out of devotion to whom or what is the client suffering? See Buchheit in Isham TQ 3191, continues in TQ 3192. Continue it in from TQ 3191. To assist people to wean themselves from these entirely unworkable and destructive hope structures requires us to have immense rapport with them, as well as limitless respect for their experience, all combined with a cheerfully edgy annoyance that they are continuing to harm themselves in service of the past. This is all adjustable, and we can end the suffering, but we cannot change things until both the clients and we can appreciate and respect the loving intentions behind their every continuing hurt and loss. Then magic can happen. The method of assisting people to lose hope for a better past in service of their better present and future entails a quantum perspective. In Newtonian, classical, physics, causes precede effects and effects are consequent to causes on the unidirectional arrow of time. Past events on the time arrow are not available for revision. But in a quantum frame, time moves both ways on its arrow, past to future and future to past. When we reimprint past traumas and the belief structures that come from them, we are working in both the classical Newtonian and the quantum approaches. Classically, we are causing some of our local neurons to make new connections with new potentials for new responses and new meanings about the past. But quantumly, we are in a way revising the past itself, actually organizing something different to have happened on our personal time arrow. When we reimprint a trauma, we are in a sense arranging for things in the past to have had the potential to have unfolded differently in our lives. We are not violating Newtonian causality when we do this, because we are not replacing one personal history with another. We are merely using our human faculties to create and stabilize a relevant parallel probability in our conscious and unconscious mind. The availability of this parallel probability generates relief, not amnesia. Relief from lifelong suffering always makes further growth, different experience, more available. A better past makes the reality of a better future more probable. Consenting to the past. As part of preparing my clients to accept and benefit from change in the past, which is, of course, only in our minds right now, I educate and empower them to first consent to having had this past. A resisted experience is very hard to change, and all painful experience is instinctively resisted. A painful past experience must be completed before we try to revise it, because all unwanted experience continues until it is completed. Completion of an old experience begins with consenting to the fact of our having had the experience, just as it was, no matter how painful and traumatic things were. This consenting to the past just as it was is not the same as condoning what happened. Consenting is also not the same as accepting what happened or surrendering. Acceptance and surrender are both more passive than consent. The act of consenting is a confirmation that the experience happened the way it did. When we consent to a tragic and painful past, we are not saying, "It's okay," because it is decidedly not okay, but we are saying, "Okay, it happened." This consent is the first step in making it easier to change the unwanted present consequences of past experience. Consent to what happened helps to dissolve the resistance to the past that has operated to keep old patterning alive in the present. As humans, in order to resist something, we must create representations of whatever it is that we are resisting. That is, in order to put our attention on what we do not want to experience, we have to be thinking about this experience. Since the internal representations that allow us to resist an experience are almost identical to the representations of the experience itself, the resistance against unwanted experience actually brings little comfort. Instead, it creates even more vivid representations and a stronger impression of that which we do not want. Hence, resistance now to what was experienced then only operates to make then continue now, which is precisely the opposite outcome from what is truly wanted. However, when we learn to consent to the past rather than resist it, the representations that create the impression of the unwanted feelings and meanings are actually revised, and it is this revision that opens the way for a rapid resolution to past blocks and impairments. When we consent, the past comes to rest, it loses momentum. It is complete and completed. We can acknowledge the trauma and permit the emotion, and this allows the client to move on. Now we are far more available to ask ourselves, and what would I like now? See Buchheit Isham TQ 3192.
So my current understanding of all that was this idea of consenting doesn't mean you agree, but you consent to the reality that, oh yeah, okay, that did happen. I consent to the reality that it did happen. That's a hard thing to do, number one. But the other point is that's encouraging is we were meant to have taken a certain path if we were loved. That was all blocked, pain, so you're loyal for a better outcome to take the path not taken, the road not taken, so to speak. So you're blocked and you can't do it because you're loyal, you're tied. Dysfunction means loyalty. Dysfunction means waiting from others' love. Dysfunction means you're hoping to change the past, like this whole quote is all about. Okay. But if you can consciously admit, really, the mother was impaired, okay, she used the baby to meet her needs, Okay, so can you get to a place of real sadness that the mother would do such a thing? The greatest hurt of all, mother betrayed me, she used me, holy, you know what? So then can you get to a place where you can say, okay, that happened, that really, can you consent to that? The verdict of reality that it happened. Then that doesn't change the event, doesn't change the past, but it sets in motion some feeling of okayness now, that if we do something healthy for ourselves, then there's an okayness quality in the unconscious that we could have gone down the path not taken, the road not taken, the healthy path not taken. So we can then accept something good because we allowed for an alternative in our unconscious. We made it okay to have the alternative when we admitted mother failed us. If you don't admit mother failed you, you're stuck, waiting. That's the issue. So you got to admit that she failed you. Then you allow the other path, the road not taken. But to get the road not taken, whatever, you got to. That's what this is all about, right? So his opening part was, why do therapists think things should get better? Therapists work hard with the person. Things didn't get better. What happened? NTR, negative therapeutic reaction. Maybe things got worse. What the hell? Well, he didn't face this kind of thing. He didn't really face this hope for a better past. Okay. So that's the best part of that book. The rest of it, I skimmed a bit, and I didn't find that helpful. His comments about the work of Bert Hellinger was a little bit okay. I don't recommend, sorry to say, because I visited his website. Oh, you want to hear my talks? Send me all this money and I'll send you a 15-year-old fluffy talk of mine or something. Give me a break. This is old, rehashed, self-help trickery kind of talk. But luckily, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So his book had a couple of good points in there. And I only noticed it because Behrman made a joke about it. Otherwise, never would have noticed it. But I do quite like this kind of quote because it focuses more clearly. It just verbalizes in another way, in a more friendly way, I guess, in a more easy to follow way, that our dysfunction is the hope for a better childhood past. We're always dysfunctional, again and again. Now, dysfunction means symbolic acting out or treating others the way your mother treated you, to communicate that you're angry around how your mother treated you, so you imitate her to show her up, to expose her. Okay, like you said in the quote there, you don't want to be happy because that's like you're betraying your feeling of anger if somehow you think, oh, mother didn't hurt me, so I can be happy. But that's like saying they didn't hurt you. If you're happy, that's like saying they didn't hurt. No way, they hurt me, man. No way. I'm not gonna let them off the hook. I'm really angry that they hurt me. So if you don't face that, you can't move forward because you're betraying yourself to be happy. Can you believe it? Your fear of success is you're betraying your own soul. Can you believe it? Because your soul says you're angry at the failure. So you can't skip. That's called spiritual bypassing. You're violating yourself in a way. You got to admit that you're angry. You got to admit that you were hurt. That kind of thing. That's what this is the thorn. This is the point. You got to face this kind of thing. Okay, understand the mother. Understanding. Okay, enter the quote by Diderot. Okay, the world is a kind of spiritual kindergarten, and we're all confused or bedazzled infants trying to spell understanding with the wrong blocks. So once we understand repetition compulsion, that the mother was hurt, she had a hope to change her childhood past using the trauma. Using the child in her attempt to get a better childhood past for herself. So she was in a blind compulsion because her mother was soul blind, and then the mother became soul blind, and this is intergenerational trauma, this soul blindness like that. And this has been going on for the past 10,000 years. Okay, got into the topic on the transition from Homo sapien sapien to Homo sapien trauma, because we became a traumatized version of ourselves roughly 10,000 years ago, or 5 to 10, depending on who you quote, kind of thing. That's a whole separate topic, like that. So that's part of the forgiveness, that we're just all generally traumatized. Look at the whole plunder system. Okay, play Rick Emmett's song, Big Lie. We're destroying the planet as fast as we can. Like, holy you are short-selling the planet for a quick buck. We're plundering the planet for a quick buck. What the, of course that's dysfunctional. We're traumatized to destroy our own home like this. Like, you know, you can see it all the time. My goodness. I bought some frozen strawberries thinking, oh, please let them be a little bit real. Oh, it was just cardboard. Oh, forget it. So you can't even get strawberry, fruit anymore. So we're destroying the soil because we're trying to know that Mother destroyed our soil. Our soil was, we felt the sweetness of the psychological egg. The mother-infant relationship is a kind of a psychological soil for us to blossom and blossom. Our budding beauty blossoms. Our feeling self, like a flower, will blossom within the soil of a positive relationship. So that was deprived of us. So we deprived the planet of nutritious soil to reflect the inner state that we were deprived. As above, so below. So we're doing these kind of things because we accidentally traumatized ourselves roughly 10,000 years ago. So then we went from village to pillage. So then children were traumatized to create flying monkeys to pillage. So okay, I don't want to start down that topic. Now the truth is, I didn't cool off properly when I started. I just walked. I had a long walk here. I normally try to cool off. The time is short. Let's just get into it. But yeah, that's why I'm sweating all the time. It's not that hot really, but rain or shine, I want to get the quotes up. I think for the viewer, if anybody's watching this, they must have a real challenge. Can a person hearing my anxious delivery focus on the material for themselves and not validate or be influenced by my anxious delivery? I have anxiety. I have not been analyzed. I'm not a counselor, doctor, midwife, doula, nutritionist, gynecologist, astrophysicist, paleontologist. I only have a BA. I have not been analyzed. Played Joni Mitchell's song, This Flight Tonight, made popular by Dan McCaffrey. I've been in this flight tonight to do a full analysis, to find my blind spots, to get my embodiment. I'd love to present this from an embodied, calm place. Man, oh man, I feel like I really want to do a full analysis and have that capacity to free a soul, stay safely, and piece together my story so I can feel again and get back my embodiment. I feel like, so I'm just finding quotes and sharing them, at least as part of the way to at least weave the basket. Psychoanalysis looks, an egg in a basket's missing, so weave the basket, then maybe the potential of new life the egg can come. Psychoanalysis looks for an egg in a basket that's missing. So these quotes are kind of like weaving the basket, and then the feelings will come. So we're trying to now know what we couldn't have known back then, so we can then feel now what we couldn't have felt. That's the getting your feelings back, the egg, the potential right there. The phoenix, the firebird, the egg, the feeling, the new life, that kind. Oh, I just found that quote you just heard, the 10-minute readout on the phone there. A good follow-up would be the quotes by Libby Russell below in this video here. In the description box here, read the quotes by Paul Libby Russell on repetition compulsion. Those are excellent quotes. He's our lead author on the topic, Paul Libby Russell. So we did some yesterday. You'll find some yesterday, some today, and there's another in the next two as well. So so there's a 4-video stretch of quotes mainly by Russell, yesterday, today, and the next two. So that's a key batch of quotes on repetition compulsion. No book by him. He's just got several articles on this topic. He also talks about BPD and the affect a little bit. So this, the quotes below, you know what, that readout that you heard for 10 minutes and then reading the Libby quotes, that's a self-contained therapy module in my mind. Listening to that 10 minutes, here, whatever it is, I didn't time it. Listening to the readout, okay, on the phone there, and then reading the Libby quotes below, that's like a mini therapy module, I think. Like right there. Only available here. Just kidding. Oh yeah, speaking of music, I tried to play Fanny, this rock band called Fanny from the early 70s, and it's considered to be either the first or the second all-female rock band. 4 young ladies put up a couple of albums in that time. And because I discovered them because I wanted to play their cover of Ain't That Peculiar. So when we talk about psychic masochism, Edmund Burger's theory about the sugarcoating of pain, and then you got to hope to push back the pain, hope to push back the pain, but the pain is there, you sugarcoat it by the hope chase. Okay, so dopamine's a topic as well, oral fixations are a topic as well. Okay, anyways, there's a line in there about, in the song Ain't That Peculiar, the writer, Smokey Robinson, has a line in there. I understand that flowers grow through rain, but could somebody please tell me how is it that love can grow through pain? As he says, every time the girl hurts him, he loves her more. The more badly she treats him, he's crazy about her more. The more he lies to him, the more he believes her. Like, what the hell? He loves her more the more she hates him. Ain't That Peculiar? Interesting song. So I tried to play the cover of that song by the band Fanny. It got copyright. I had to trim it out, so I couldn't show it. But this morning I found another song of theirs. So I want to give it a try to see if another song of theirs will get through. Called oh boy, what's it called again? Hang on again. Oh Jesus Christ! Hang on a sec. Called hang on here. Give me a second. All Mine. Oh, All Mine. Yeah, okay. So here's a song called All Mine. What is it? So these are mainly the sisters. There's 4 girls, 2 sisters, the Milligan sisters, Jean and June, the 2 sisters. So they had like 4 albums or something like that. Yeah, I tried to play this one, Ain't That Peculiar, with the slide guitar. That's a fun song. That's a great cover. That's my favorite cover of Ain't That Peculiar. The one there by Fanny. That's the live one. Let's play another one, All Mine. That's copyrighted. All Mine. Hang on. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, let's wait till the ad. Okay, this might not get through, but let's give it a try. I'll play the audio only to see if by chance the audio gets through. I think this is their 3rd album or something. It's just a typical fun. I love it when you're around. We're a happy couple. You're all mine. It's so nice to be with you. You know, we laugh together. If you're not here, it's hard to laugh if I'm alone. But when you're here, we have a good time laughing. You're all mine. Just a simple kind of celebration of love kind of song. So this is, yeah, I regard this sort of as a feel-good kind of song. Okay, let's see.
But you made it easy, that's all in the past.
Yeah, that probably okay. If you just noticed a skip in the video here, because I tried to play a music video, a song called "All Mine" by the band Fanny. Maybe I could just play the audio only. See if it gets through. Hold on a sec. Let's play the audio. So let me dig it up here. Hopefully the audio got through. A nice little song called All Mine by the rock band Fanny, 1973, I think. The Milligan Sisters. You know, the comments section, it's filled with, I never heard of them before. Who are they? Aren't they great? It's kind of sad because one of them is ill and they're on the go. They're looking for funding. So here's a semi-famous band that toured the world, concert after concert on all the shows. You know, and here, you know, now they're in the 70s, still performing, but it looks like they're struggling. It's just, you know, it's kind of sad like that. A little surprised. I don't think they're gamblers or users or anything like that, from what I can tell. Who knows? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. But, you know, like you wouldn't expect a major, you know, rock star to be asking for money, right? Okay, let's, maybe we can run through. Hope for a better past. That phrase alone, right? How many words? 5 words. Hope for a better past. Just meditate on those words. I hope for a better past. I'm hoping for a better past. I mean, my life is all about just waiting for a better past? What the hell? Holy, you know what? One of the most curious features of human beings is their unconscious but persistent hope that the past will have been different than it was. Martha Stark calls it relentless hope or unreal hope. What is it that we value that might be compromised or lost in the future as a consequence of new choices and changes that are made in the present? Well, very often, the answer has to do with the loss of hope for a better past. Maintaining hope for a better past is never a conscious endeavor. What are the drivers for holding on to or otherwise avoiding the resolution of present pain in order to prevent the loss of hope that things will have been better in the past is what I call suffering obligations of love. Okay, so this is you're self-defeating to prove your loyalty. Suffering devotion, suffering love to prove your tie, to prove. Because the baby thought, one theory is that the mother said to the baby, baby, your needs bother me. Oh, really? Little old me, my needs bother you? They disturb you? They scare you? They frighten you? I'll sacrifice it. I love you so much, I'll sacrifice. Good. That's a suffering, so now he's in a suffering place. So by doing that, he's showing love for the mother. He needs a loving mother, of course, for himself. He's connected, so attachment and love are kind of synonymous in a way. So the attachment and love are kind of blurred up like that. But the baby makes this sacrifice, thinking it'll please the mother, fix the mother, cure the mother, heal the mother. But in the meantime, the baby has to cope with the pain around not having for exiling his soul. So he may imitate her, be dysfunctional, act just like her. That's a talionic feeling. Baby's angry, has to imitate the mother. So he'll imitate the mother as a kind of anger. Mother hurt him, he's negative towards others, there's a talionic feeling. He wants to show up the mother, covertly, passive aggressive. So all these dysfunctional, hold on a second, let's wait a minute. Let's let these people pass in front of me here. All right. Suffering obligations of love. So, quote unquote, so he says here, when I use the word suffering, I mean it, quote, the terrible things we do to ourselves in an unworkable effort to say I love you to someone else, unquote. As far as we know, humans are the only ones who do this. We're the only ones who compromise the present and future in an effort to improve the past, or to improve or fix our parents. You don't see anything in nature that's living its life with the fantasy that if it's unhappy, it's going to improve the life of their mother or father. Only people do this, right? because humans are not getting a proper attachment. Humans have attachment trauma, right? Mainly humans have attachment trauma. If our pain diminishes, we have the bad feeling that we're abandoning the ones we love, abandoning them in their present and our past. So we unconsciously find ways to maintain our pain by arranging things so that our own lives will not improve until theirs do in the present, which of course is impossible since it is our past. So you're going to orchestrate, manufacture, maneuver, not believe it, not know it. You're going to misuse situations to choose the wrong people, coax people to reject you. So you're going to be disappointed in some way. You'll be unhappy in some way. Now sometimes you can't help it, things get better for you. Sometimes, you're a magical millionaire overnight or something. So some magical good thing happens to you. Suddenly you're a magical millionaire. Then what? Or on those occasions when we cannot avoid some improvement in our experience, well, we can still find some way to arrange to feel bad. So that's why wealthy people are still unhappy, right? It's loyalty to the mother, hoping for a better childhood past. Of course, now sometimes in this case, it's invisible, but sometimes when it's too blunt, then they may make a dramatic, they may make a self-sabotaging decisions to be closer aligned to the misery of the loyalty. See, mother, so either we're covertly miserable or overtly and covertly miserable, I don't know. All present pain that has come from past trauma is coded as an indication that the trauma is not over. Yeah. The trauma is not over. That's the issue. The trauma is not over. See, the trauma is not over because we didn't consent to it happening. If you can consent that there was a trauma, okay, there was a trauma, you consent, then it's lived experience. It happened. It's this whole issue with time here. When the trauma is not over, because we continue to feel its negative and awful effects in our present, then the strategy or the game is not over. And as long as this strategy or game is not over, there is some hope that the outcome can change. As long as the outcome can still change, there is a possibility that we and our parents can be happy. And this gives us hope. Nobody's happy this way. Isn't it bittersweet, says the Twilight Zone. Isn't it bittersweet that you're doing this? A real and lasting solution of our pain would end our hope to have had a better past. A real and lasting resolution of our pain would end our hope to have had a better past. And this ending or loss of hope can be unbearable. So that's fear of happiness, fear of success. One way that a suffering of love maintains past pain in the present in the service of a better past is by fixing things so that again and again we fail to change. Then you make excuses for it. There's an invisible loyalty, an invisible covert grand design agenda to stay fixated at the pain of mother hurting you, which you sugarcoat by the hope, but you're fixated at the disappointment and you never air this out. So you're never really happy because you never got mother's love in the past. You're waiting for mother's love in the past, you repeat the failure, that's your hope. But what are you doing? Are you waiting for a magical time machine to appear so you go back to the past, mother can correct the change the history? You're hoping for a better past? Why are you dysfunctional waiting for a magical time machine? This is the confusion and the power of the unconscious brain not knowing time. Our conscious brain doesn't know time. The power differential you can compare to the iceberg, the bit of ice above and all the ice below, or the metaphor that the doorman whom you see at the complex, maybe braggadocio, thinks he's so important. But who has more power, the braggadocio doorman whom you see, or the invisible owner of the complex on a yacht somewhere, in a castle somewhere, who you don't know, who you don't see, who's got more power? The invisible owner, who you don't see, it's kind of like you're unconscious like that, who's got more power? Or the braggadocio doorman like that. So that approximates the idea of how of humanity's third narcissistic entity, that there is an unconscious that has a lot of power, and it's got a script, and we're following it. Okay, so we're just a puppet, unconscious puppet master, or organ grinder, monkey, not the monkey, the organ grinder. So don't blame yourself, blame the blame the organ grinder. Blame your traumatic script. Enter Gabe's story, Twilight Zone, discussed yesterday. Very good Twilight Zone would be Gabe's story for this topic as well. When we fail, when someone or something in life presents us with a positive, workable resolution for our resolution, and for our pain, solution, resolution, for which we have no doubt long, and toward which we have often worked diligently and admirably, perhaps for decades, the desire for that better future might be very strong indeed. But one way or another, okay, I see her picture around here, we do not really allow ourselves the revisions of healing, one way or another, right? So you're still tied to mother's apron strings. She's wounded, and you're tied, hoping she'll be fixed. You'll be healed, and your loyalty and your clutching and clinging will heal her, because she's using the baby as a phantom placenta to nourish her, a phantom mother breast, symbolic object, self-object, soothing object, containing object. Either phantom placenta, phantom breast, phantom mother, phantom all that phantom stuff. That's your hope. Forlorn hope. It's a forlorn hope. We hold on to a forlorn hope that things that were heartbreaking can still get better in the past. You're hoping in a heartbreaking way in the now that things will get better in the past. Man, oh man. Without consciousness, that's not going to happen, right? Only consciousness, where you consciously consent. Okay, it happened. Then you change things, so that they won't really have happened the way they did. Okay, now a variation here is the hope for correction. So in the anger of all this, there is the desire to show up, mother, as if to say, "Look, you mother, what you did to me was so cruel, so wrong. My defeat at your hands was so complete that I will never let the results of all that ever change. If I allow myself a decently abundant and joyful life now, I am just saying that what you did to me was okay, and I will never give you that. You're going to take credit and give you that? I'm going to let you off the hook like that? No way. My misery will be my monument. I'm going to build a monument of misery to you. My life will be like a monumental misery, showing you up, telling the world. It'll be a perpetual indictment that will point at your guilt for all to see." So when someone's miserable in life, they think that's their monument for the world to see what the mother did to them. Lowen says when you see people with hypertension, frozen fear, frozen anger in the body, okay, that's a monument. They're a walking monument that they're in frozen fear, frozen anger at the mother not meeting their needs. Anybody who's dysfunctional, whatever form it takes, a compulsive smoker, a compulsive drinker, these are all monuments of mother's failure. These are all monuments of mother's failure. Now Berger says, hold the phone here. Yes, the machinery was laid down. A machinery, a misery machine, Mark Twain's misery machine. Berger's Ringamoller. Yes, it was laid down early on. But wait a minute, when you're an adult and you keep giving gas and oil to this machine, then who's responsible? You're now giving it fuel for this machine. So you're responsible. right? So there's the self-responsibility side, because you're perpetuating this machinery. But you got to identify the machinery, i.e. the traumatic script, i.e. back to Gabe's story, like that. In another example, hope for a better past. Oh, we did this already. All right. My life of misery will be my perpetual monument or memorial indictment that will point to your guilt for all to see. I'm going to show you up and expose you, tell the world what you did. I can't be happy because that means you were okay. Oh, to boot, you want to take credit for my happiness? Oh, well, triple insult. You never admitted that you hurt me. I am in pain. I can't violate my own pain of what you did to me. So I can't be happy because that's letting go of the pain. So so yesterday, okay, I talked about, on this point, go to yesterday's video for more on that, on the national show, TV show. Again, this is just a continuation of yesterday, basically. Where are we here? Okay, so dysfunction is loyalty, okay, and so on. All right, let's go on to 92. That's 91. Part 2 is 92. Hang on here. Where is it? What happened here? Uh-oh. Did I lose something here? What happened here? My phone's freaking out on me here. Everything went blank here. Hang on a sec. What's going on here? Man, oh man, this phone has been really... I'm using a budget kind of phone here. Oh, here we go. Okay, continuation. So to help people wean themselves from this situation, okay, so if there's a trusting therapy rapport and you have respect for the person's situation, and you can maybe use a little humor to confront what they're doing, that pointing out to them that they are continuing to harm themselves in the service of the past. This is all adjustable, and we can end the suffering, but we cannot change things until both clients and we appreciate and respect the loving intention. So you validate the intention. You've got a love. You have a lot of love there, right? Got a lot. Play the song. Got a lot of love or something. So admit the positive intention. All right. The method of helping people lose hope for a better past in service of their better future and present entails a quote-unquote quantum perspective. Okay. So in regular physics, okay, there's cause and effect, i.e. time is linear and a unidirectional arrow of time. So normal sense of time. Past events on the time arrow are not available for revision. Okay. But wait a minute here. Can't we, what about addressing the past? That's the quote-unquote, more or less idea of some kind of quantum frame. Time moves, we can say, metaphorically speaking, in both directions. Past to future and future to past. Okay, so when we re-imprint past traumas and the belief structures that come from them, we are working in both the classical Newtonian and quantum approaches. Classically, we are causing some of our local neurons to make new connections with new potentials for new purposes and meanings about the past. So you don't change the past, but you might change the meaning of the past, the effects of the past. Okay, so it's kind of like explaining to your child, your mother's not a monster. She's a confused young woman. Oh, okay. So things have changed a little bit. But quantumly, we are, in a way, revising the past itself, actually organizing something different to have happened on our personal time arrow. When we re-imprint a trauma, I don't really like his phrasing it, but anyways, we are, in a sense, arranging for things in the past to have had the potential to have unfolded differently in our lives. Now that part's okay. We are, in a sense, arranging for things in the past to have had the potential, to have unfolded differently in the past. So we're accepting that we could have gone a different path. We're accepting for ourselves that it would have been okay for us to have gone the path not taken, the proper path. We're now accepting that we could have gone, that we could have developed, that we could have been who we were meant to be if we were brilliant. We're now accepting this when you admit and consented to the trauma. We are merely using our human faculties to create, stabilize, relevant, parallel probability in our conscious and unconscious mind. The availability of this parallel probability creates relief. Relief from lifelong suffering always makes further growth more available. A better past makes the reality of a better future more probable. So we got to consent to this. Do you consent to this? Do you consent to the past? Do you consent that you had this past? And most people, my reaction is, no way, man. How do I consent to that? Well, let's clarify something. Hold the phone here. As part of preparing my clients to accept and benefit from change in the past, I educate and empower them to first, quote, consent to having had this past. Consent to having had this? I don't consent. Well, hang on. Hold the phone here. A resisted experience is very hard to change, and all the painful experience is instinctively resisted, of course. A painful past experience must be completed before we can revise it, because all unwanted experience continues until it's completed. Repetition compulsion, you got to process it, you got to know it, you got to live it, it's got to be completed. Okay, completion of an old experience begins with consenting to the fact of having had the experience. Can you consent that you had the experience? Can you agree that you had the experience? Start there. Okay, start there. Completion of an old experience begins with consenting to the fact of having had the experience just as it was, no matter how traumatic things were. This, quote, consenting to the past just as it was, unquote, is not the same as condoning what happened. Consenting is also not the same as accepting what happened or surrendering. Acceptance and surrender are both passive versus consent. So the passive is passive, but when you consent, you're a little more active here. The act of consenting is a confirmation that the experience happened the way it did. Can you admit the trauma happened the way it did? Can you admit the trauma happened the way it did? Can I admit my trauma happened the way it did? Whoa, right? When we consent to a tragic and painful past, we're not saying it's okay, because of course it's not. But we are saying, okay, it happened. Shit, right? So there's going to be some kind of anger or sadness involved. Like, damn it, right? In the song we played today, at the beginning of this video, he kept saying, damn it, or something, right? So when we consent to a tragic past, we're not saying it's okay, because obviously it's not. But we are saying, okay, damn, it happened. Okay, use a four-letter word, it happened. It was angry, so expletives or expressions of anger, it happened, right? Okay, so instead of, so Berman would say, okay, maybe it happens, but don't forget, shift also happens. Shift happens. Shift happens. But first you got to recognize the earlier one, the four-letter version. But in order for shift to happen, you got to first admit the four-letter version of that first. out of the joy for which you pray is 100 tears away. This consent is the first step. And he calls it instead of the situation. Okay, never mind. This consent is the first step in making it easier to change the unwanted experience. This consent is the first step in making it easier to change the unwanted present experiences, consequences of. Oh, brother, I'm guessing I'm getting tired. Hang on a second. Let's try again. This consent is the first step in making it easier to change the unwanted present consequences of past experience. Okay. Consent to what happened helps to dissolve the resistance to the past that has operated to keep old patterning alive in the present. Again, consent to what happened helps to dissolve. If you can consent, say to yourself, okay, it happened, damn it, it happened. Well, that helps to dissolve your resistance to the past that has operated to keep old patterning alive in the present. As humans, in order to resist something, we must create representations of whatever it is that we are resisting. That is in order to put our attention on That is in order to put our attention on what we do not want to experience, we have to be thinking about the experience. Since the internal representations that allow us to resist an experience are almost identical to the representations of the experience itself, the resistance against unwanted experience actually brings little comfort. Instead, it creates even more vivid representations of a stronger impression of that which you do not want to, of what you don't want. Yeah. So one self-help slogan is, it's your resistance to what is that causes your suffering. See? You're resisting what is. Well, say what is, like what happened. It's your resistance to doing that that's causing your suffering. Right? However, when we learn to consent to the past rather than resist it, the representations that create the impression of the unwanted feelings and meanings are actually revised, and it is this revision that opens the way for a rapid resolution to past blocks and impairments. When we consent, the past comes to rest, it loses its momentum, it is complete and completed. We can acknowledge the trauma and permit the emotion. And there's the key here. There's the key here. You can now permit the emotion. There's the firebird, the phoenix, the emotional knowing, the abreaction, the catharsis. You can allow the feeling. And this allows you to move on. And then you can say to yourself, okay, now what do I want to do with my life? So it's all about getting the feeling in the end. All this stuff is to get the feeling in the end. Psychoanalysis looks for an egg, the feeling, and the basket. So all this that we read is about building the basket, then you allow the feeling. You gotta allow the feeling. Man, oh man, eh? Okay, so once again, that's 31. So this is all preview of 31, 91, and 2. Now the ones below, so yesterday we did 31, 31, Burglar and Russell. And today's one is 32, right? 31, 32. This is all Russell. This is good stuff here with Paul B. Russell. When I was doing this in preview mode, I was very animated. I was very excited about this stuff here. Maybe I'll run through it tomorrow in the next video when I do 33. But man, oh man, just to give you a sample of it. Sadder but wiser. Where are we here? Every feeling contains the history of its own development, its own repetition. Hang on. The repetition compulsion serves as a reminder that we have not yet found a way to feel differently. Yeah. In repetition compulsion, you have only one way of feeling. All your feelings is from the past. That's your limited range of feeling. That's called a dysfunctional feeling system. So in the present, you only feel the way you felt in the past kind of thing. Repetition compulsion means you want to pick up development, have a better past to resume development. Repetition compulsion means you're living in the past. The present is new recreations, symbolic recreations of the past. So, repetition compulsion means there was a failure in development, an unfinished task. In its broadest sense, the repetition compulsion is attachment to the past. Yeah, you're tied to the past, waiting for a better past, which to that degree destroys the present. Obviously, you're destroying the present. You're not enjoying the present. Living the past is its own kind of self-harm. But the seeds of emotional growth reside within the repetition compulsion. Okay, and it goes on. Let's just give you one little sample there. Healing, a very specific and ingenious way of attempting to hold in hand at the same time both what was and what is, and it is this that the treatment process must capture. Healing, a very specific way of attempting to hold in hand at the same time both what was and what is. You're accepting what was, accepting what is, and make a bridge between your brains. You gotta get the lizard and the monkey to sit down and have a conversation together. Meaning there's got to be some kind of linkage of the unconscious to the conscious. No, okay, that's not a good example, right? Hang on. What was and what is at the same time. Let me think about that. No, it's okay. Let me just leave it there then. Look at that, it's getting so dark quickly. So it's only 5 o'clock, right? Let's see, what time is it? Oh, it's 4, look at that, 4:49. Oh, it's gonna rain, oh, that's why. It's gonna rain as well. Oh, it's gonna pour. Oh, just in time, eh? Just in time, it's gonna pour down here. Let me get on the sky train before I get caught in the rain. Takes a week for my shoes to dry. Ain't that peculiar? Did that song get through, the Fanny song? Should I play another song or just wrap it up here? I think I did a more fresh, energized job yesterday. I had a lot of caffeine yesterday. Today, no, I just had one little one. Yesterday, yesterday's video, done right here, was way more animated, way more energized, and it's the same material. So I would recommend that yesterday's video, 31, right? For discussion on this topic here mainly. I feel like I redid it, but my redo is not as good as my first take. So my take 1 is better than take 2, put it that way. Oh, okay. I think I can play, okay, here's the Fanny one. I think I can play the audio only of Ain't That Peculiar. So here's the same band, the Fanny, the Milligan sisters, the two sisters, Jean and June. They're still around, right? And their 2 friends on keyboards and drums. There's 4 of them, right? So here's how I know them. It's their cover of the Smokey Robinson song called Ain't That Peculiar. And the June one, the singer, she does the slide guitar. So she did a good job with the slide guitar thing. So when the song ends, I'll hit the stop button. Thanks very much for the love of narrative medicine. May the psychoanalytic force be with you, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll focus mainly on Paul Levi-Russell's quotes, and we'll see what other thoughts come up with Lucy Holmes's work and this quote here about hoping to change the past. Maybe that slogan from the Dante, abandon hope, ye who enter, all who enter, abandon hope. Well, That's when you begin to heal. When you abandon ye all hope of a better childhood past, you begin to heal. You begin to heal when you abandon all hope. That Janoff's line is the death of this kind of hope. It's the death of unreal hope. That's the birth of new life. Abandon such persistent, unreal, relentless hope that your dysfunction will change your past, give you a better childhood past. Okay, abandon this kind of thing somehow, but the way to do it is to consent, admit, okay, D-A-M, it happened, okay, admit it, kind of thing. Now, part of the process of the loyalty is that you made pain pleasure. Ain't that peculiar? And that keeps you in an allurement to the past because it's pleasurable, it's familiar. Ain't that familiar? Ain't that peculiar? Familiar. So it's hard to break free from familiar if it's pain, but you made the pain pleasure, and you don't know there's pain under the pleasure. Ain't that peculiar? For the love of narrative medicine, may the psychotic force be with you. We'll see you in the next video. Ain't that peculiar?